Alright, so let's do some game day problems to see how we can solve this stuff. So first, we need to follow the game to answer the questions below. We have two players. We have A, B, C, and X, Y, Z. Ooh, is this a symmetric game or an asymmetric game? This is going to be an asymmetric game because they have different strategies. Alright, so let's find our Nash equilibrium. So if player 2 picks X, what's player 1 going to do? I'm going to pick A and C. Now if player 2 picks Y, what's player 1 going to do? Pick B. And if player 2 picks Z, what's player 1 going to do? Also pick Z, or pick B, sorry. Just like they did when they picked Y. Now, if we look at player 1 and they decide to pick A, what's player 2 going to do? It's going to pick Y because 2 is better than 0 and 1. If player 1 picks B, what's player 2 going to do? Player 2 is going to pick Z because 3 is the biggest. And if player 1 picks C, what's player 2 going to do? Pick X and get 2, Y and get 1, or Z and get 1. I'm going to pick X. So how many Nash equilibrium do we have? We have 2. We have right here at B and Z and right here at C and X. So we have 2 Nash equilibrium. And it says part B, provide an argument for selecting among these equilibrium. So which one are we going to select? We're going to select this one. So we're going to select the bigger one, the 3, 3. This is the one we're going to select. Why are we going to select this Nash equilibrium? Because it is payoff dominant. Both players can do better off at this Nash equilibrium than they can down here at this one. Let's see if we can get this next one. This next one is the same thing. We need to find our Nash equilibrium and we need to pick between them. So let's find our Nash equilibrium. We have player 1 has TBR and player 2 has DEF. Is this a symmetric game or an asymmetric game? It's an asymmetric game because they have different strategies. So let's find all of our Nash equilibrium. So if player 2 does D, player 1 is going to pick T because 8 is better than 0 and 2. If player 2 picks E, player 1 is going to pick both B and R because 8 is better than 5, but both 8s are equal to each other. If player 2 does F, player 1 is going to pick R because 4 is better than negative 15 and better than negative 12. Now if player 1 picks T, what's player 2 going to do? It's going to pick D because D is better, 8 is better than 6 and 2. If player 1 picks B, player 2 is going to pick D as well because it is better than 2 and 2. And if player 1 picks R, player 2 is going to pick F because 4 is better than negative 9 and negative 12. So how many Nash equilibrium do we have? We have 2. We have 1 here and 1 up here. Are we going to, how do we pick between these two? We pick this top one where player 1 does T and player 2 does D because, so select this one, because it is payoff dominant. 8 and 8 is better than 4 and 4, so both, and for both players. So both players are going to be better off at this equilibrium, so they will pick it instead of doing the 4 and 4. Alright, let's see if we can do another round here. Bear with me, guys. I hope you're able to follow along with what I'm doing. I pray I don't kill the piece of paper. Alright, let's just do this bottom one. Erase all the stuff off. Alright, so So let's do number 4. I think you can do 3 by yourself, but let's do number 4. I might be able to flip it around to do it in a minute. Hold on. Let's do this one first. So we've got 2 players. We have player 1 and player 2. They have the same strategies, but is this a symmetric game? No, because if they both pick A, one gets a -1 and player 2 gets a +1. They're not getting the same payoff. So this is not a symmetric game. This is an asymmetric game. Let's figure out our solution. So if player 2 does A, player 1's going to pick B. Player 2 does B, player 1's going to pick B and C. If player 2 picks C, player 1 is going to pick A and B. If player 1 does A, player 2 is going to pick A because 1 is better than -2 and bigger than 0. If player 1 does B, player 2 is going to pick -1 and -1, so pick strategy B and C. Remember, we're negatives here, so -1 is better than -3. And then if player 1 does C, player 2 is going to pick 0. So how many Nash equilibriums do we have? We only have 1. So do we need to do any arguments for our Nash equilibrium? Do we need to do any weakly dominant? No. Do we need to do a payoff dominant? No, because we only have 1 Nash equilibrium here. Watch out for me. I will show you some that, or put some on maybe your homework or test, that I'm going to say, okay, find all your Nash equilibria and then tell me which one you're going to pick, and you may only have 1. Say, well, okay, I don't have to pick because I only have 1 there. All right, let's see if I can get this other one to work. So that was number 4. See if I can get number 3 in this little thing so we can work on it. And of course, it slides in perfect at the time. All right. So, sorry, we skipped down. Let's go back up. Let's do Mary and Alice. They both have the same strategies, but is this a symmetric game? No, it is not, because if they both pick left, they've got different payoffs. Same with right and middle. So this is not a symmetric game. Check and get that glare off. So let's solve it. So if Alice does left, Mary does left. If Alice does right, Mary does right. If Alice does middle, Mary does middle. So it kind of looks like this may not be a symmetric game, but it might be a coordination game. Remember those? Where the actions of one player impact the actions of the other. So it's kind of looking that way. Let's see. So if Mary picks left, what is Alice going to do? She's also going to pick left. If Mary picks right, what is Alice going to do? Oop, nope, not a coordination game because Alice is going to pick left. And if Mary picks middle, what is Alice going to do? She's going to pick right. Once again, just like number 4, we only have 1 Nash equilibrium. So do we need to pick between them? No, we don't. We just need to know that we only have 1 Nash equilibrium. So that is the problems that we do for this particular chapter. I want you to be able to identify if it's symmetric or asymmetric. I want you to identify games, know what in player means, and then if you have more than 1 Nash equilibrium, I want you to be able to solve it.